I'm Charlie Weaver, 34 years old, and I'm sitting in the same chair I sat in when I was 16, but this time I'm just different. I wish I could say I'm home for some joyful reunion, but the truth is, I'm here because my mother texted me a single line that read, "Come for all party. Don't dress weird. Not a 'how have you been?' or even a 'we miss you.' Just a directive like I was still the 17-year-old girl they expected to be at their beck and call. The dinner smells like baked ham and something too sweet. Cinnamon, maybe? I try not to cringe. I've been gone for years long enough that the smells don't hold the same comfort anymore. The house feels small, suffocating, but also familiar. And there it is, the flickering porch light. Still there, just like it was the night I left. The Huxley mailbox always leaning to the left, like my father's old politics unyielding and stuck in the past. I could tell you that things have changed since then, but nothing has. Everyone's here, Mom, Dad, Aunt Kendra, Jessie, and a few cousins. The same as it always was. The same quiet judgment I've gotten used to over the years. No one says a word when I walk in, not even Jessie, my younger sister, the golden child. She's the one they always brag about. The one who stayed the course. The one they'll keep toasting tonight. I slide into a corner, unnoticed as usual. The silence in the room thickens the longer I'm here. It's the same air, the same unspoken rules. I sit in the periphery, knowing that's where I belong. Dad finally looks over. "What are you doing these days?" he asks, his voice flat, without so much as a glance in my direction. Before I can answer, he turns back to Jessie, launching into a long spiel about her top marks in field strategy, how proud her instructors are. That's Dad always turning back to Jessie. Aunt Kendra interrupts, with her glass half empty, her voice a little too loud. "Didn't you used to pretend to be a waitress? Looks like you went pro, huh?" She laughs not at all in a mocking way, but the kind that's all too familiar. I give a smile tight-lipped and measured, before I reply, "I'm better at performing now, letting the words land with a clean precision." It's a jab, but subtle, the kind that doesn't show on the surface, but hits hard beneath. Everyone laughs. No one notices it's a strike. Later, when the toasts begin, I'm asked to fetch more water and grab some extra forks. The unspoken rule still stands. I'm the extra, the one who doesn't belong. I carry out the task in silence, letting muscle memory guide me. Fetch, pour, return. Observe. It's like clockwork, but as I move about the room, the quiet starts to suffocate. I think about the day I walked away. They never even asked me what happened, why I disappeared. They just called me a failure when I dropped out of military college. None of them knew that 3 weeks later, I enlisted my name scrubbed from West Point records, hidden behind an alias, a shadow. I didn't vanish, I went dark. I can still feel the weight of that dinner table, its polished surface cold and impersonal. The longer I'm here, the more I feel invisible. They're all so wrapped up in their own little worlds. Jessie's medals, Aunt Kendra's wine glass, Dad's latest critique of my life choices. They can't even see me anymore. I'm just the odd one out. The leftover. The one who left the straight and narrow path. I don't blame them, really. I left. I chose this. It was never going to be easy, but there's something about walking into this house, sitting at this table, that brings all the old memories flooding back. I can't help but remember the night I made the decision to walk away from everything I once thought I wanted. I was 17 when it all came crashing down. They called me weak. They said I couldn't handle it, didn't have the grit, the mental toughness. I wasn't cut out for the military academy, they said. And that's when I dropped out. I remember my father's face, his disappointment was almost physical, like he'd been slapped. My mother's silence, her cold disapproval. They didn't ask what I'd been going through. They didn't care. They just saw failure, and that was it. I went back to school for a while pretending to be fine, but I wasn't. I couldn't sit in a classroom pretending that I could be someone I wasn't anymore. So I left. I didn't tell anyone. I didn't have to. I enrolled in a small local community college, worked part-time jobs, and lived in a studio apartment. I tried to forget what they thought of me. I tried to forget how much their disappointment had scarred me. But then, when the weight of it all felt too heavy, I found myself standing in front of a recruiter's desk. I enlisted under a false name, signed up for military intelligence. No fanfare, no big speech. Just me alone and ready to disappear. Here I am, now a general in covert operations, standing in the shadows of my past, watching my sister get praised for every move she makes. I don't regret it. I'm proud of what I've done. But it's hard sometimes to be in the same room with them and not feel like I'm invisible. Like I'm still the failure they think I am. The failure I used to think I was. The air in the room feels thicker now. Everyone's still toasting Jessie, their voices floating in the background like white noise. But my mind drifts back to that day 10 years ago. The day I walked away from everything. The day I chose to disappear, even from my own family. It wasn't just the shame of failure. It was the weight of their expectations, of their belief that I was never going to be good enough. They never asked why. It wasn't weakness. It wasn't laziness. But I wasn't allowed to explain that. They saw the letter I wrote to drop out of the academy as nothing but a declaration of my inability to stick with it, and that was it. It's funny, isn't it? How quickly someone can be reduced to a single moment in time. How easily the world turns its back on you because of a single mistake. And then there's the shadow I still carry. The name I left behind. That's the part that still feels like a ghost lurking behind me. When I enlisted, I erased everything my family, my past, and the identity that they had crafted for me. I built a new one under a different name. One that was more suited for the kind of work I ended up doing. Military intelligence, covert operations, a life lived in the shadows. I wasn't just hiding from my family. I was hiding from everyone. I didn't tell anyone what I was doing. I didn't even tell the recruiter. I didn't care about the fanfare, the medals, the recognition. I just wanted to do something that mattered. Something that didn't make me feel small. I wanted to prove that I could be more than the person they thought I was. It wasn't easy, and I didn't let anyone in. I worked under false names, using aliases and codes, burying my true identity so deep that even I forgot what it was like to stand in the light. For years I carried that weight, my past, my family's rejection, all of it. But the work, the missions, the operations, they kept me going. They gave me purpose. They gave me a reason to push through all the doubt, all the shame. But now I'm back in this room surrounded by the people who couldn't see me when I was standing right in front of them. The people who still see me as a failure. And I can't help but feel like I'm the same broken person I was when I left. I wonder if they'll ever see me for who I've become. Or if they'll always remember the girl who couldn't handle the heat. I'm still at the dinner table nursing my glass of water, trying to stay small to blend into the wallpaper. But then it happens. Jessie, ever the overachiever, is standing in front of a small screen in the corner of the room, her phone buzzing with notifications. I can hear her muttering to herself, scrolling through something, looking like she's found some new bit of praise about her promotion. But something's wrong. I catch her glance shift toward me, just a flicker, a brief curious look, and then she's gone back to her phone. She doesn't even know what she's about to do, what she's about to uncover. Minutes later, I feel my phone vibrate. I reach for it quickly, my heart jumping. The message is simple. General ma'am, your sister just triggered a breach. For a second, I don't know what it means. I stare at the encrypted message for a beat too long, panic creeping up my spine. What breach? Who's accessing my systems? Then it clicks. Jessie had been browsing some mission files. Her casual curiosity led her straight into the most dangerous part of my past. Something I thought was long buried. A trail of code. A series of untraceable links, all of them leading back to me. Not just me, but my entire covert operation, the secret life I thought I'd left behind. I don't want to be here anymore. I want to disappear into the walls, fade away. Instead, I sit there trying to act normal, trying to ignore the pounding in my chest. But Jessie has seen something. I know it. I know it because I can feel it. And then, without warning, the conversation shifts. Jessie's eyes snap up from her phone, wide with disbelief. "Wait, your sister's a general!" she mutters under her breath, loud enough for the entire room to hear. The world stops. I don't even know what to say. How do you explain the person you've become after all this time? How do you make them understand that everything they think they know about you is a lie? That behind the mask I've worn for years is a woman who's been saving the world one covert operation at a time. The room goes dead quiet. Everyone turns to look at me, but I can't meet their eyes. I want to shrink into the floor. Jessie's voice breaks through the silence, now tinged with confusion, and something else I can't quite place. Maybe awe, maybe guilt. "You've been in intelligence, Black Ops." I nod, swallowing hard. I'm off duty right now. Don't make a scene, Jessie. But it's too late. The damage is done. Jessie, for the first time in her life, is seeing me not as the screw-up she always thought I was, but as something else, something more. Something that's been hiding in plain sight, waiting for her to finally notice. And that's the hardest part, isn't it? That they only see you when it's too late. The dinner has shifted into something else now. It's not about Jessie's promotion anymore. It's about me, about who I really am. I can feel their eyes on me, like 1,000 needles, all of them, trying to dissect the woman I've become. But I don't want to be here for this. I never wanted this moment. I never wanted to reveal the truth, especially not like this, not in front of a family that spent years telling me I was nothing. But there's no turning back now. I take a deep breath, trying to steady myself. The last thing I need is to crack under the pressure. I push my chair back slowly, as if the movement alone can buy me a little more time, a little more space. I glance toward Jessie. She's still holding her phone, her fingers nervously tapping against the screen. The shock on her face is unmistakable. She's still processing what she's just uncovered, and I can't blame her. Hell, I haven't fully processed it myself. Before I can say anything, I hear a voice behind me. "What's going on, Charlie?" It's my dad, his tone as flat as always, but there's an edge to it now. He's trying to mask the worry in his voice, but I hear it. He's never had to confront the truth about me before, and I wonder how much of him wishes he never had to. "I'm here for the mission," I say softly, keeping my voice as calm as I can manage. This is not the time to dig deeper, but it's too late. Jessie has already figured out enough to ask the questions that have been buried between us for so long. "How long?" she asks, her voice quieter now, the words catching on her breath. "Long enough," I reply, turning to face her. The rest of the room doesn't exist anymore. It's just me and Jessie now, in this uncomfortable space we've created. I've been serving in intelligence, Jessie, under a different name, under different rules. Her face tightens as she processes this. I can see the confusion playing in her eyes, but there's something else too, a flicker of something I've never seen before. Maybe it's respect. Maybe it's the first real glimpse of the person I've tried so hard to be. "But why didn't you tell us?" she asks, the question sharp and full of something like hurt, like I've betrayed her. I shake my head, not sure if I can explain. Because I wasn't allowed to, not by them, not by the rules. And because every time I even thought about coming back here, you'd still be the one they praised, the one they wanted. I could never compete with that. Jessie looks away, the weight of my words landing somewhere deep inside her. She doesn't speak at first, just shifts in her seat, trying to wrap her head around what I've just shared. The silence stretches thicker than before. I can feel my own guilt creeping in now. The guilt that maybe I've waited too long, maybe I've let her down. Maybe I could have done this differently. But I couldn't. Not then. Not when I was still trying to prove to myself that I could be something worth being seen. Suddenly, Jessie stands up, still holding her phone. She steps towards me slowly, like she's unsure if she's walking toward a stranger or someone she's known her whole life. "You were never a failure, Charlie," she says, her voice catching. I didn't know. I didn't understand. I can't speak. I just stand there, frozen, letting her words settle over me, like a blanket I didn't know I needed. For the first time, she's seeing me, not as the sister who dropped out, not as the one who failed, but as something else. Something more. I've always wanted my family to see me, to really see me. But maybe, just maybe, I've been looking in the wrong place for validation all this time. Maybe the only person who needed to see me was me. The weight of the moment lingers in the room, heavy and unspoken. Jessie's words hang between us both, a healing balm and a sharp wound reminding me of everything I've been trying to hide, trying to outrun. But just as the emotional tide begins to settle, something shifts. A new storm is rolling in, one I didn't expect. I'm still reeling from Jessie's words when my encrypted device buzzes in my pocket. My pulse quickens. I know this isn't good. I've been living under the radar for years, hidden in the shadows of operations so deep no one could trace them back to me. But now someone is trying to expose me. I pull the device out and read the alert, unauthorized access detected. Origin internal node profile tag, Huxley Alpha. It's a direct hit to my past, to my cover a breach I never thought would happen. Whoever it is, they're deep inside the system, and they've found something they shouldn't have. I know this feeling. This is not a simple glitch. This is someone playing a dangerous game, someone with a vendetta, someone who knows exactly what to look for and where to find it. The name that immediately surfaces in my mind is Marcus Holt. He's been out of my life for years, but his influence lingers like a bad taste in my mouth. Holt was a manipulative officer, someone I used to trust. We worked together once, but after an operation went sideways, he was reassigned and disappeared into the shadows. I never thought I'd hear his name again, but now I know it's him. I don't want to believe it, but the evidence is too obvious. The breach is too calculated. It's Holt's signature. I know how he works. He's always playing the long game, hiding his moves behind layers of manipulation and deceit. I'm not surprised by the familiarity of it. I'm not surprised that Holt would be the one trying to tear down everything I've built. He always resented the way I called out his methods. He couldn't stand that I'd been the one to report him after he gave an order that led to a massacre in Eastern Europe. He lost everything after that, his career, his reputation. But he didn't stop. He kept going, lurking in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike back. I feel my fingers clench around the device, anger bubbling up inside me. This isn't just some petty revenge. Holt is trying to destroy everything I've worked for, everything I've kept hidden, and he's using my past, my real identity as the weapon. I'm not going to let him do it. Not now. Not when I'm so close to finally taking control of my own life. The decision is simple. I need to track him down. I need to find out what he's after and stop him before he destroys everything. I stand up abruptly, drawing everyone's attention. I don't care anymore. The game is bigger than them now. I need to leave. I say, my voice sharp focused. There's something I have to handle. Jessie opens her mouth to protest, but I don't wait for her response. I've already made my decision. The family I've been running from is no longer the threat. Holt is, and if I'm going to survive this, I need to confront him head on. I walk out of the room, my mind already shifting into mission mode. The dinner is forgotten, the awkwardness dissipating. All that matters now is stopping Holt and finding out what he wants. I didn't expect it to be this hard, this pull between duty and the need for closure. The drive to Fort Griffin feels longer than it should, like every mile is pulling me farther from the family I never truly left, even when I walked away. I'm used to living in the shadows, to being invisible, but now the walls of my childhood home seem to be closing in again. The betrayal doesn't come from the work I've done or the secrets I've kept. It comes from the fact that I let myself believe their expectations mattered more than my own. By the time I reach the base, the weight of the past presses into me like a physical thing, but I can't let myself focus on that. Not yet. Holt is still out there, and I need to make sure I'm ready for him. This isn't about family anymore. It's about survival. But then, as I step into the operations room at Fort Griffin, something shifts. I see a familiar face across the room. Ethan Brooks. He's the only one who's ever understood me, even when I didn't understand myself. He's been by my side for years, and I can't deny that he's the one person I've trusted in this world. He looks at me with the same quiet understanding he's always had, but today there's something different in his eyes, something I can't place. "Charlie," he says, his voice low but steady, "you're not doing this alone, not this time." I want to argue. I want to tell him that this isn't his fight, that it's too dangerous, that I don't need anyone's help. But I don't. I just nod silently, acknowledging the support I didn't realize I needed. "Where's Jessie?" he asks after a moment, the question hanging in the air like a cloud. I don't know what to say. "She's processing things," I answer, unsure if it's the truth. She's been so distant since the dinner, and I don't know where I fit into her world anymore. But I don't want to drag her into this. Not yet. Ethan doesn't push. He's always known when to leave me to my thoughts. But his presence is a quiet reassurance, something I've come to rely on without ever asking for it. He's been with me through some of the hardest parts of my career, and now here he is again. I feel a pang of guilt. I've spent so much time running from my past, from my family, that I never realized how much I needed the people who were still willing to stand by me. I've never wanted anyone to get too close to care too much, but that's what makes Ethan's loyalty feel so damn hard to accept. Maybe it's because I don't think I'm worthy of it. Maybe it's because, despite everything I've done, I still feel like the girl who failed at everything. But now, as I stand here preparing to face Holt, preparing to face the parts of my past I've been hiding from, I realize something. Maybe it's time to stop running. Maybe it's time to finally face the family I've pushed away, the people I've tried to forget, and finally prove to myself that I can stand tall, not in the shadow of anyone else, but in the light of who I've become. And maybe Jesse will be able to see me not as a failure, but as the person I've always been capable of becoming. Maybe it's time for us both to stop hiding. The operation to track Holt is underway, but as the hours stretch on, I'm hit with a familiar feeling. It's a mixture of frustration and urgency, like a fire burning just beneath my skin. Every part of me wants to find Holt and end this, but there's something else simmering just under the surface. A deeper conflict. One that's been gnawing at me since I stepped foot back in this town, since I sat at that table with my family. It's the choice I've been avoiding for years, the choice to let them in, to let them see me. As the night stretches into the early hours of the morning, I pace the small room at Fort Griffin, the hum of computers in the background, a constant reminder of how close we are to solving this. But even with all the intel, all the leads, I can't focus. I'm not sure what it is, but something feels off. Holt's close, I can feel it. But I also feel like I'm on the verge of losing something I can't get back. Maybe it's my sense of self. Maybe it's the fact that after all these years, I'm still waiting for someone to notice, to see me, to see the woman I've become, not the failure I used to be. My phone buzzes again, pulling me out of my spiraling thoughts. It's a message from Jesse. I want to help. I know I don't understand it all, but I want to help you. I've been thinking about it, and I can't just sit here anymore. I read the message a few times before it sinks in. This is the moment. The moment I've been waiting for, the one I didn't realize I needed. Jesse is finally seeing me, not as a soldier who failed, not as a ghost who disappeared, but as someone who is doing what she can to survive and protect what matters. For the first time in my life, I feel like I'm not just standing in the shadows of everyone else's expectations. I'm standing in my own light. I turn to Ethan, who's been sitting silently across the room watching me. He doesn't need to say anything. I know what he's thinking. I'm thinking the same thing. I have to call her, I say quietly, more to myself than anyone else. It's time. Ethan doesn't speak at first, but when he does, his voice is steady, calm. Do what you need to do, Charlie. You're not alone in this. Not anymore. I nod, swallowing hard. For the first time in years, I'm letting someone else in. I'm reaching out, not just to Jesse, but to the people who've been there for me. The people who have stayed in my life despite all the walls I've built. I tap the screen of my phone, the message to Jesse, ready to be sent. It's simple, short, but it feels like the most important thing I've ever written. Meet me at the base. We finish this together. The decision is made. It's not just about stopping Holt anymore. It's about doing something bigger. It's about not hiding anymore, not letting anyone else's judgment define who I am or what I can do. I send the message, and for the first time, I feel a weight lifting off my chest. Because this time, I'm not alone. The air is colder now as I stand on the edge of Fort Griffin, the wind whipping against my face like it's trying to push me back into the shadows. I'm not sure when it happened, but somewhere between the years of silence, the secret operations, and the years of running, I forgot what it was like to feel anything other than the weight of duty. To feel like I was worthy of redemption, of forgiveness, or even just the simple acknowledgement of what I've done. But tonight, it's different. Tonight, the walls I've built around myself, the distance I've kept between me and everyone else, feel more like a cage than a shield. I've spent so much time hiding in plain sight, convincing myself that if I kept quiet, kept moving, I could outrun everything, the doubts, the betrayals, the guilt. But tonight, I realize that the only thing I've been running from is myself. I'm waiting for Jessie. She's late, but I know she'll come. She has to. We're too far into this now. I can't stop. I've been carrying this for too long, this burden of being the person they never expected. But it's no longer just about what I've been hiding from them. It's about what I've been hiding from myself. I turn around and see her coming toward me, her figure illuminated by the faint light from the base. She's dressed in her military uniform, but there's a softness to her posture now, a change in the way she moves. She's no longer the perfect soldier. She's just my sister. She's come to stand with me, not behind me, not above me, but beside me. She reaches me, her gaze meeting mine. I'm here, she says quietly, but the words carry a weight. Let's do this. There's something in her voice, something raw, something real that makes my chest tighten. I can see it in her eyes now, the understanding, the respect, the desire to be a part of this fight. I've never seen her like this before. She's not the perfect soldier anymore. She's my sister, finally seeing me, as I am, as I've always been. We've both been carrying our own burdens for too long. For the first time, I feel the weight of my past lifting. It's not gone. It will never be completely gone. But in this moment, I understand something. Redemption doesn't come from medals or accolades. It doesn't come from the praise of others. It comes from the quiet decisions we make, from the small steps we take to move forward to heal and to show up for those who need us. It comes from the people who choose to stand with us, even when we don't deserve it. We walk toward the operations room together. I'm still nervous, still anxious, but it's different this time. For the first time, I don't feel like I'm walking into the storm alone. This time I know we're going to finish this together. Whatever happens next, we're in this fight together. I've made peace with what I've lost with the family I can never fully reclaim. But I've also gained something more important, the understanding that I can still choose my path. That redemption, real redemption, comes from within. It's not about being recognized. It's about being true to yourself no matter the cost. And right now, the cost feels worth it. We make our way into the operations room, the hum of machinery and low murmur of voices filling the otherwise sterile space. I glance at Jessie beside me. Her steps are firm, her jaw set in determination. She's no longer the naive soldier I left behind years ago. She's someone different, someone I've always hoped she could be, though I never thought she'd reach this place. And it's in this quiet realization, this understanding, that she's finally seeing me, that I feel something shift. Maybe it's a small victory. Maybe it's everything. The mission to stop Holt has been relentless, a maze of encrypted codes and hidden trails that led us straight into the belly of the beast. And now, here we are standing together, side by side, ready to take on whatever comes next. I should feel fear. I should feel the weight of what's about to happen. But there's a strange peace in me now, like I've finally made the choice I should have made years ago to stop running. The tension in the room grows palpable as we prepare for the final operation. Everyone is on edge, aware of what's at stake, but none of us say it aloud. The stakes are too high. We all know this could go sideways at any moment. Holt's in position. We've traced him to a location just outside the base perimeter. It's clear now that he's not just aiming to destroy my career. He's aiming for something bigger. The data he's been extracting isn't just about me. It's about destabilizing operations across the entire military network. He's been manipulating information, twisting codes, to create a weakness, a chink in the armor, of the very system we've spent our lives defending. We move in. The night is quiet, but the adrenaline surges in my veins as we get closer. Holt is cornered. We're moments away from taking him down. I can feel my breath steadying, my heartbeat slowing, as everything begins to come together. For once, everything feels within reach. The fight is almost over. But this time, it's not just the end of the operation that matters. It's the end of the silence that's haunted me for so long. We breach the door. The security alarms ring in my ears as the team floods into the room. Holt is there alone, surrounded by screens flashing with stolen data. He doesn't flinch as we approach. He stands there calm, like he's been expecting us. "Charlie," he says, his voice cold and calculating. "You're just like them. You think you can control this. But you can't. Not when it's too late." His words hit hard, but I don't let him see it. I'm done letting him control the narrative. This isn't about him anymore. This is about me taking back what's mine. I step forward, locking eyes with him. "You should have stayed in the shadows, Marcus," I say, my voice steady, unwavering. "But you didn't, and now it's over." He smirks, but there's nothing left in it. It's the smirk of someone who knows they've lost, but is too proud to admit it. The final confrontation happens quickly, decisively. The data is wiped. The systems are secured. Holt is apprehended without a fight. He's been outsmarted. He's been outmaneuvered. And I'm the one who finally took him down. When it's over, when the dust settles, I feel something inside me shift. It's not relief. It's not joy. It's peace. The kind that comes from knowing you've done what you needed to do, not for anyone else, but for yourself. I look at Jessie, who's been standing quietly by my side through the entire operation. Her eyes are locked on me, the same respect and understanding I've been craving from her now reflected in her gaze. "You did it," she says quietly, her voice a mix of admiration and something softer, more genuine than I've ever heard before. I don't respond. I don't need to. The silence between us now speaks louder than words ever could. As we walk back toward the base, I know that the battle isn't over. Holt might be in custody, but the real fight is within me. The fight to keep moving forward, to keep shedding the weight of the past, and to finally stop hiding from who I am. For so long, I thought I was running from my family, from my mistakes, from the people who never saw me. But now I understand that the only person I've ever really needed to prove myself to is me. And for the first time, I finally feel seen. Sometimes the quietest victories are the most powerful. I didn't get a medal or a headline or even a photo on the mantle back home. But I did get something far more valuable: clarity. I don't need to prove myself to the people who never really saw me. I need to live for the mission, the truth, and for the person I've become in the silence. Have you ever been underestimated, cast aside, only to rise stronger in your own way? Tell me in the comments. I read every single one, and your story matters. If this journey resonated with you, please take a moment to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs to hear that their quiet resilience is enough. We don't need applause to be brave. We just need purpose. Thank you for listening. Stay sharp, stay grounded, and above all, stay true to yourself.